Ready to go live. We are live.
Boom.
Oh
my God. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Let's let a few people come in here, if you don't mind, BOE, and then we can start off. You know, we'll go age before beauty. Age before beauty. So we'll let you talk about your channel a little bit in the background. So how you doing today?
Good.
Good.
Nice. The weather is quite cloudy in London, but it's quite warm as well, quite muggy. So
same here. Same here. It's 95 degrees and about 125% humidity here.
Yeah, that's well, you got it tougher then. So but it's a nice day. I mean, I spoke to my mum, so that was quite good. Because she has to shield. So and last Friday was my last day at work, so I'm on holiday now. So it's quite nice. So.
Was it just like a planned holiday, or everything okay?
Oh yeah, everything's fine.
Look who joined us. Good evening to you, Tim. Hope you're doing well.
Boss Bounty. Hello.
We got a couple of real celebrities in here. We got Gerald Coyle and we got Tim.
Hi, Gerald.
Boss Bounty.
Hi.
Well, now that we have a couple of viewers, I think that we should go ahead and give it a roll here. And I want to thank you for joining me today, Blacked Out Ewoks, because I'll be honest with you, man. I'm not sure if I'd be on YouTube at all if it hadn't been for your channel. I was just in the dregs of alcoholism, 5 or 6 years ago, and I was like, and after I got sober, I was like, what am I going to do with my life? I need something other than wife, kids, work, and I was like, why not start getting into YouTube videos with my stupid little plastic dolls? And I found your channel. Your videos were awesome. I loved the detail that you went into, the talking about the grading and just all the amazing kind of holy grail items that you got. So I would love to hear a little bit more about how you started the channel, why you started the channel, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, great. So I'm pretty flattered by that. So I started my channel in 2009, so it's 11 years since July the 11th, I think. So originally I called my channel MKM Films 2009 because some of my friends and we made short films and arty films, but obviously I wanted to show my Star Wars stuff as well. So I got the collecting bug when I was around the end of 92 into 93. I was in a shop in Portobello Road, a very famous street in London, and they had a Star Wars figure, a Trilogo Tebow for £3. I didn't even have any money, so my mate had it and bought it for me, and I said I'll pay you back later. And and also I'd never thrown away my Star Wars figures from childhood, so I quite like. Hello, Lee Mitchell. So I kept my Star Wars figures from childhood, and always loved Star Wars as a child. Favorite toys to play with. So 92, 93, I was out of work then, but I decided to start collecting Star Wars figures. And you could go to in London, there was quite a few big comic marts in those days that they don't exist anymore, which is quite unfortunate. So I used to go there, and you could get certain sellers. Jules Bart knows them as well. Mr. Sci-Fi would sell carded figures for less than £10 each. So I'd be buying loads of them. Plus, I bought a lot of figures from a guy called Steve Chamberlain, and he's the one that gave me those Trilogo Miss cards. And obviously I had to pay for them, but I got them for a steal. And then by 94, I'd completed the 96 figures, apart from Yak Face carded. So I didn't have Yak Face carded. So I had him loose, but I had every other carded example of each of those. And then towards into the 2000s, I wasn't really buying much. So around the 96, 97, I bought a few figures like that Spanish red snaggletooth. I wish I'd bought more then, because you in those days you could get Harberts for about 100 quid, 12 backs, and the PVP figures for about £40. So they pretty common in the UK was the Red Snaggletooth, the Darth Vader, and Chewbacca, but I only pulled this trigger on the Red Snaggletooth, which was, you know, something to my regret now. But then when I got a new laptop in 2009, in 2008, I started buying Star Wars stuff again. I bought a Clipper TIE Fighter for about £40-50 in a shop in Lavender Hill, which is a famous street in London. From, you know, got a lot of Brits watching, so I bought that TIE Fighter, and that sort of piqued my interest again. I mean, now and again, I'd go to collecting events in London, like the big London Film and Comic Con, and I'd buy the odd figure now and again, like not a 12 back Luke, but a 21 back Luke for about 125 quid. So
wow,
that, you know, and that Death Star droid, I've got the 21 back AFA AT Death Star droid. I bought that, and so I was collecting, but not in a big way. 2009, I got my laptop, and I started eBay. So I started to buy stuff on eBay, graded stuff, and started to amass my collection again, where I had lots of gaps, or, you know, favorite figures. Like my favorite three figures that are the Luke, the Leia, and the Han. So obviously, if I could buy those, I'd pick them up. And so I bought a lot of graded stuff. Recently, I've shown that Gamorrean Guard which is a carded sample, and something like that was I didn't even know something like that existed, and no one was interested in it on eBay. I got it for 160 quid. So
wow.
that is an absolute bargain. That's in 2010. You know, and obviously, whilst talking about vintage, obviously I was collecting a lot of the modern stuff as well. So I was collecting when, say in 94, 93, I'd gotten a carded example of every figure apart from Yak Face. Then the Power of the Force came out, Power of the Force 2, and I collected that heavily. So got tons of Power of the Force 2, then Episode 1, and then all the subsequent lines that followed. So Saga, some OTC, but the main ones I collected were Power of the Force 2, Saga Blue, and then in 2010 we got the vintage collection, which was a dream come true, really, because you got that nostalgia of the vintage card plus modern figures put onto those cards. So, you know, I collected all of that stuff as well. So I decided I'm going to show it on YouTube, and that's what I did. So, you know, early videos of mine are pretty terrible. So I would use
mine are too. It's okay.
If you go back to my early videos, but it was a learning process. It was like from maybe before that, I would take lots of photographs of my collection. So in a way, I thought that was the best way to show them, was using photographs and music. So a lot of my early videos are that, and then the odd video I'd use film. And then as my channel went on and on, I just switched to using camera and talking about stuff. I did make a few short films as well. So, I mean, those short films haven't got massive views or anything like that. But, you know, if you're an artistic person, I said artistic, not autistic, you know, you get a creative buzz from that sort of thing as well. And so I like to show anything to do with Star Wars in terms of action figures, books, other collectibles and stuff like that. And hi, that one time son. Hi. And you know, now my channel is just, I've got so many videos, thousands of videos. But also I'm very good at editing. So I and in the past you could edit on YouTube, which they've stopped doing now. So in in those days when you could edit on YouTube, because I had such a reservoir of footage on my channel, I could just pick different figures and just put them into a new video, and you know, that's how I was able to create so many videos. And you know, if I've got 4,000 videos on my channel, I've got about 7,000 actually, because I've got a lot of footage that I've just uploaded but never used. And then I guess doing YouTube, you get to meet people and you get to interact with them. And so obviously Sith Lord 229, Star Wars fan Tommy, people that were big 10 years ago. Obviously Sith Lord 229 was the biggest then. And then there's an American guy called Micah6V8, and he did a really great channel. His videos were very professional and very detailed. And he focused a lot on vintage figures as well as modern. But you know, and he reached out to me, and we did some collaborations together. And then around 2012, 2013, there was a guy called RF Biker Scout, and he got me to do a few live streams with his sort of group channel and stuff like that. So I did stuff like that. I did a really good video about vintage foreign figures, and you know, I sort of totally dominated that because I could talk about that sort of stuff till the cows come home. Yeah. And then, you know, since then, since 2013, I haven't done a live stream or anything like that. But I think, you know, because my channel's kind of got a bit of modern, a lot of vintage, I'm sort of well known, even though my channel doesn't get many subscribers. I think my videos get quite a few views and stuff like that. But then if I was looking at what videos get the most views, stuff like Hot Wheels, Star Wars Hot Wheels, they get a huge amount of views, but they cost next to nothing. Right. Whereas if I'm showing something that like a yak face, tri-logo yak face, which costs quite a lot of money, that might get 120 views or something like that. Whereas a 50p Hot Wheel costs, you know, I'm getting, so there's some sort of, you know, I think maybe my generation of collector prefers maybe Facebook and, you know, Rebel Scum and showing photographs rather than, you know, showing film footage and waffling on about Star Wars stuff. As you can see, I'm a master of waffling because I'm sort of, but that's the sort of history of my channel is sort of, you know, and obviously there's a lot of new channels out there that are doing really well, like Bosk Bounty, Only One Kenobi and stuff like that. And
yeah, I love their channels. I mean, I know nothing about the vintage collection and keeping up with the modern. So I love Bosk Bounty, Only One Kenobi. Those guys are great because I learn something new every time I watch their videos, and their production values are way higher than mine. And they know technology. And Bosk Bounty, I want to especially thank him since he got me on StreamYard. I don't know anything about technology, but I just wanted to make sure we mentioned that as well. So, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and so my channel is sort of, I mean, Bosk Bounty helped my channel out a lot because last year, I sent him a Bosk Unleashed figure, and I think he talked about my channel on his video, and that got me a lot more subscribers, and that pushed me over 1,000. So that was really good, much appreciated. So yeah. So I mean, in a way, I make videos like I told Action Figure Grader earlier. I make videos for myself. Really, I get something that's quite exquisite, which is a vintage carded figure. It could be graded, it could be loose. I mean, ungraded, and you know, it's a thing of beauty to me. So I just you know, look at it, and I can film it and talk about it for a good 10 minutes often, and I post that as a video. So that's how, you know, that's my reasoning for my how I put my videos out. And then you came along, and you've encouraged me a lot. Flattered me as well. So I'm quite appreciative of what you've said. And I mean, also on my channel, I put, like, if I go away, I'll put a video mainly about going to Trinidad, where my dad came from, and then like I saw a newt, so I filmed that and shoved it on, because I've never seen a newt before, so that's my channel. So I mean, I could talk a bit more, but I think that more or less, in a waffling way, I've covered my channel. I mean, I describe myself as a great waffler. I mean, I got that PB book yesterday, and 25-minute video about it. So
I enjoyed it though. It's great to see every page like that.
Yeah.
For those of us that don't have it, so yeah,
highly recommend that book. And he signed it for me as well, which I was really pleased with. So yeah. Mm-hmm. So do you want to talk about your channel now?
Well, I don't have much of a history. I wish I had been on a little bit longer, but I think it's next week I'll be on here for a whopping 2 years. So
that's great.
But I kind of mentioned that already. I just wanted to have something to do. I needed a hobby. I needed to keep myself out of trouble. I've gotten myself into enough trouble over the years, and I decided that why not take yeah. Well, I mean, why not take my stuff?
What do you think my channel's called? Blacked Out.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've been there and done that. And I'm glad those days are behind me now. But
yeah,
I just I don't know. I had gotten into graded figures, like maybe, I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe 7-8 years ago, and I had a very small collection. But I was like, well, maybe I can take them online and I can learn more from other people. And meet other people was the big thing. That was really the main reason I do, is just to, because none of my friends here in town, they all think I'm an idiot, and I can't. I kind of am an idiot, but they don't like to collect. They think they walk into my collection room and they're like, dude, what is wrong with you? There's something wrong with you. I mean, that's what they think when they walk in, and I don't blame them. But for me, it's fun to like meet like-minded individuals who have a passion for it, no matter what it is. I mean, modern, ungraded, graded, vintage. It's fun to meet other collectors, and I know that I've made some very lifelong friends just by having a channel out there. And I'm just so technologically inept that it just takes me a while to put videos together or to do this stuff like this. But it's a lot of fun just to collect different variants. And I enjoy seeing stuff that that you get, that you buy, that I didn't even know about. I didn't even know it existed. And and same with Boss Bounty and a number of other folks on YouTube. It's like, is that a thing? I didn't even know that was a thing. But it's fun to learn. It's fun to learn. So that's the very short history of my very short history channel. So
but you've introduced me to things I never knew about, because all those Mexican 1980s, 1990s bootlegs, those Russian orotets, I never knew about those. I mean, I dabbled in the Polish bootlegs a little bit, but your Polish bootlegs are just amazing, so that's something your channel is supreme with, that you are the king of bootlegs, really.
Well, I mean, my collection is really not. I mean, if you for those who are watching, if you're in like the Facebook bootleg group, I mean, some of the collections out there just blow my mind. I mean, mine is very much amateur hour, but it's fun to like. I think once I found out that Collector Archive Services started grading bootlegs, because AFA won't grade most of that stuff, but because I just like to grade weird stuff and just see how off the wall I can get with some of these submissions. It's partially just for entertainment value. I mean, I got some stuff coming back that it's just, why did I grade that? But it's gonna be fun to like just to see what it looks like when it gets here. So
those videos are great though. You get about 40 different items and you show them all at once. It's just
oh God.
And I've never heard about this thing before, and I mean, you got those. I mean, those Oratets were just amazing. The orange and the green, just
Oh man, I'm so lucky.
amazing.
So lucky.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, sometimes it's that sort of serendipity that, you know, you got those Oratets. I got that sample back in 2010. You know, it's sometimes things come together that you get something obscure. You know, so
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people don't even know what it is. You know, when they see it, they're like, whatever. It's just a modern figure. But you know, when you find out how rare it is, you know, it's hard for people to wrap their head around, you know, a 2000s era figure having such rarity. But you know, it's. I mean, that was just complete luck, and that's the way it goes. Because sometimes when you collect, if you're out there looking, and you're out there doing the work, and you know, hitting the phones and hitting the emails and everything, you know,
yeah,
I think that orange one. I think it was the orange one that I went back into. I think it was Rebel Scum or one of those old pages, and I found like old email addresses for or old account names for whoever posted the photos of it. And so I was like, I have no idea if this guy's even still around or alive, or if he's going to check this or what. But I just started hitting. I started like pounding emails for like. I mean, I probably spent like 20 hours just sending emails, sending Facebook messages to other collectors where I've seen photos. And you know, stuff happens. You know, you get lucky. So
yeah. I mean, with that Gamma Guard, because I'd seen that image before. There was an English seller that had an internet business in maybe 20 years ago, and they put that as one of on their rarities list. And you know, eventually I got in contact with them about the Gamma Guards, and they told me about it, and you know, just to expand my own knowledge about it, really. So yeah.
and you got that Madine, General Madine on the Hoth Luke card too.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's an amazing item.
But that was a lot. That one was a lot more expensive. That was. I mean, even now, I mean, that was like one of the most expensive. That one and that French miscard Luke Bespin. Those two were really expensive. I think they're the two that I've spent most on. So I got that miscarded Meccano from Vectis, and
Wow.
then you have to pay the fees on top of that as well. So
yeah, that's where it adds up.
yeah, and I mean that's a rare figure now, you know, highly desired because it's got the Luke Bespin is a law unto itself, really. So
Oh yeah. Hey, there was a pre-production sales sample like yours. There was one that just sold Walrus Man card with a Nikto. I don't know if you saw that. It was in Mexico by my friend Jose, but AFA 60. It sold a couple days ago for, I think it was 1,600, which I thought was actually kind of low. I thought it would go higher than that, to be honest. But
yeah, I'd have thought it would have gone higher, but I guess it's more of a niche area of collecting. You know, that sort of.
And it was mislabeled. It was mislabeled by AFA, just like your Madine.
Yeah. I think that's what grade? That's a 75, isn't it? So scraped 75. So yeah.
Well, while we have a few minutes, Keith Guppy asked a question. I'll pose it to you. He said, "What's your view on the fake or custom AFA graded carded figures hitting eBay?" And the only fake, quote unquote fake, I could think of that's been, the Toy Tonys. That's the only thing I could think of that he's talking about.
Yeah.
Or like the German cardback, the German ESP cardbacks. Same thing.
Well, everyone knows about the Toy Tony scandal now. So that came to light in 2013. I met him as well. So, you know, in 94, he was in the London Methodist Hall. They used to have a big convention there. And I bought off him a German carded Han Solo and that Italian Harbour R2D2. So I bought them off him in person. And he had a 4-pack tri-logo with the Italian carded the header on top of that. So,
wow.
And that was he only wanted about 100 quid for it. So I never bought that.
Keith followed up on his question. He said it's a Boba Fett version that was just sold, not a Toy Tony. I'm not familiar with which one he's talking about. I didn't see that one pop up, but I guess apparently there was a fake Boba Fett mock mint on card. So anyway,
I guess what I'd say with that is maybe, I mean, these people that can fabricate cards and blisters and get the actual action figure, you know, they're so good at it that, you know, they can fool the so-called experts, you know.
Right. And it's going to happen. I mean, you know, the grading, I've covered that in a couple of videos. You know, the grading companies make mistakes, and that's, you know, there's the pro grading camp, or at least neutral, right?
I know. Boss Bounty, yeah.
Boss Bounty. Okay.
I see. No, I see what he means there. Yeah.
I think he means that people are faking AFA labels. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, let's go to that one real quick. I think he means that people are faking AFA labels. Well, I mean, that's something you can check against, and you covered this in your videos, right? With the population reports.
The number. I mean, unless they duplicate the number, they can find the number for a certain figure.
That's true.
That's true. Use that. So there'd be two examples with the same number, but when you check the number, that's how they would get around it, isn't it? That you use an actual number from the you know, serial number. So that's what they're doing now. Then I guess there's so much money in vintage Star Wars now that you know, people will do that.
I mean, my only advice on that, my only comment on what Keith brought up and Boss Bounty followed up on, my only comment is don't buy from eBay from some random dude. I mean, you know, there are plenty of trustworthy sellers both on Facebook and on eBay, but me personally, I don't buy from anybody on eBay if I don't know who they are. And if you search long enough and you take your time with it, getting something like a Boba Fett that's, you know, legitimate, even on eBay. I mean, there's dozens of sellers that are trustworthy that I think you can look to, that you can get a deal on, you know, a fair price on. But I don't know, man. If I have any question at all anymore, I don't even touch it. I just walk away, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Because the reason I've
left deals. I've left deals on the table where I was like, this is a screaming deal. I know this is a good deal. But if the seller's got zero feedback, or he's got negative feedback, or it's just like coming, you know, from anywhere questionable where you don't know if you're actually going to get the item, man, I don't even think about it. I just, you know, there's too many other good items out. It's not like there's not enough stuff out there, right? There's millions of stuff out there that will be just as good, and with patience. You know, it took me a while to learn patience. I don't know about you, but
these days I think I've learned a bit of patience. Yeah, I mean, because the prices are so up there now, you know, you've got to be a bit more measured in what you splash out on. So yeah.
All right, well, let's go to the next question. Boss asked us, Tim asked us, question for both of you: what is your rarest or most valuable item in your collections? I'll defer to you first.
Good question. I'd say, you know, obviously a nice 12 back graded. The revenge cards, I've got 3 revenge proofs. Obviously, yeah, they're quite. I mean, I got them before they just went skyrocketing. I got them all for less than 200 each. So
wow, that's crazy.
You know, that French Meccano missed card.
That one's a valuable one.
The Luke Bespin, the Luke Jedi on the Yarn Solo. Those Tri-Logo missed cards. Lots of different things. I think foreign cards as well, you know, like if you're thinking about the 12-back Harbert Princess Leia,
that's amazing.
Top Toys Chewbacca, Top Toys Darth Vader. So many different things, really. I mean, if you're asking what is my favorite thing, that, you know, maybe a 12 back like Luke Skywalker farm boy, which I have, but it's not the best condition, but it's, you know, it's got the Takara sticker on it. So,
oh yeah,
you know, something that tri-logo Luke farm gunner card I showed, you know, something about that. It's just so visually appealing. You know, it's almost mouth-watering. So, yeah. So I've got quite a lot of things that are quite, you know, up there.
oh yeah. I mean, you have stuff that I'll never own just because the prices of where they are now. I mean, it's just beautiful stuff. Crazy.
For me, it was, I was there at the right time in 93, 94, and then, you know, so when you could get stuff for, you know, you'd pay never pay more than £100 really for anything. So, yeah.
All right, we got a question from Jerry. Which one piece from each other's? This is a good question. From each other's collection, do you like / admire the most? I know what my answer is because I want one so bad. It's not maybe like the most rare, but your Efont Man, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Efont Man prototype UKG. Oh my God, I want one of those so bad. And every time one comes up for sale, I have zero money. It's like the most beautiful thing. I don't know what it is. I just love the way it looks. That prototype you got.
Yeah, probably the Oratets, the green and the orange, one of those, because they're just so rare. And, you know.
Let's see what else we got. We had a couple other questions. Okay, well, we can talk briefly about this because I talk about this enough. But what are your views on the best company to use? I assume he's talking about grading companies, pros and cons. I'll be quick. I'll be quick on this one. I use Collector Archive Services a lot because of the 30-day turnaround on mint on card items, and because I send in so much weird crap, just weird bootlegs or custom cases, and I got a bunch coming back soon. So, but you know, obviously AFA has probably got the name brand. They got the resale value, but I don't really worry about that stuff. But I let you speak to what your opinions are, because I think you got a better perspective than I do because you have access to UKG also.
Well, that's all we've got. I've only ever used UKG, and I've only done it once. I mean, I keep saying I'm going to send stuff in, but I keep spending money on new stuff, so I never have the money to. But I'd use UKG. So because I sent that Efont Man into UKG and a couple of other bits, and you know, they came back with good grades. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, AFA, I think especially right now, AFA is really slow, and Collector Archive Services is too. But, you know, I do like, you know, right now I'm just basically buying like vintage collection mint on card or vintage Kenner mint on card. And if I send it to CAS, it's a guaranteed 30 days. I love that. I mean, that's a pretty big plus to me for using them. But, you know, AFA's got the name brand, and there's a lot of people that just, you know, that's all they will use. I think, you know, for me, I think UKG, where they need to step it up is in their casing. I don't know how you feel, but I feel like if they modernize their cases, like their accessory cases, instead of like using kind of more like a blocky accessory case, if they like use the etched, you know, nice outline, I think that would look nice. But I don't know what that cost. I mean, I got to believe it costs a ton of money to implement that. So maybe that's why they haven't. I don't know.
Yeah. I'd suspect that. Yeah. I mean, I was happy.
But I think you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You go. I was happy with the way they cased that Efont Man, because it was a bigger case because it's such a big figure.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. I'm so jealous. I want that item so bad. But I think that where AFA and CAS need to listen to UKG. Man, UKG labels especially the foreign variants. I love the way they label. They're so good with labeling PBP versus POC, and even the sub variations underneath that. You know, like light brown Lando versus dark brown Lando. You know, single scar, double scar, light scar. You know, they're really good about that, and I wish that the other guys would take note of that. And Collector Archive is getting better, but AFA, I think they're so far. Their labels, in my opinion, are like prehistoric. They need to update their labels, in my opinion.
But they didn't AFA do something with that snowtrooper, that Mr. Domos?
Yeah, that's true. They did do that, but I mean, you look at how they label. You saw my Lando PvP. I don't know. I just feel like they need to work on their labels. Maybe I'm being picky.
No, I think you're right, because look at the way they labeled that Medane sample. They labeled it as a miscard. So anyone can tell that's not a miscard.
Yeah, and I think the same for that one that just sold, that Nikto that just sold on the Walrus Man. I think it was also labeled as a miscard instead of a sales sample. But I know I've seen some by AFA that have been properly labeled as sales samples, but maybe they just can't tell sometimes. Who knows?
I mean, I think it's an interesting area of collecting, and that's something you got me into more, is the CROs and all the PvP variants, the Lily Ledes, all that sort of stuff. And you start collecting that. It's just never ending.
It's a rabbit hole. It's a never ending rabbit hole, man. Yeah. I start looking, I'm like, why do I have 15 different ATST drivers? That's just what I need for my collection. No, it's like it never ends, man. It never ends.
It's just, you get the, that Black Net Lando Carisian PvP figure. I'd love to get that, but it's hard to find. And you got that Lando with a semi-metallic blaster. That's something. Just that semi-metallic blaster goes for about £200-300 on eBay.
Yeah, it does on Facebook, because that's about what I paid.
Yeah,
it was a lot of money.
Because and then like all the Spanish variants. I think that people first knew about the Mexican variants first, and then you sort of people started to look into the Spanish and realized how cool they were, and something to get the dark brown rebel soldier, and the Bosk with the fat lips, toxic limbs, Bosk, the PvP Cloud Car pilot, the Lily Lede Cloud Car pilot. I mean, these are such desirable figures now, and they're just so. You get one, then you get another, then you get another, and then you think, oh, I want this one, that one. It's just, like you said, never ending, really.
Yeah, so. I got a really good buddy named Matt who has 2 toxic limbs Bosks, both AFA graded. He's got a first shot prototype Han, first shot prototype Leia, and Cloud Car pilot Letty AFA 85. Anyway, he's going to be passing through in the next month or so. So I'm trying to convince him to get on my channel with me. We'll see if he will or not. But
that'd be great.
I'd love to just see it, in hand. Just hold it in my hands.
Because it's in that PvP book I showed yesterday, the toxic limb on card, and I sort of guesstimated it. That's something that's worth a lot of money. So I said £10,000. I don't know if that's a bit over the top, but
So this is a comment I get a lot from folks, and it's a good question. I mean, everyone's got their own opinion. Eugene Nash, he just said, "Hey, is it really worth grading? Is it a false economy? Is it really adding value to the figure?" I mean, I mean, obviously we collect graded figures, so we're going to be a little bit partial to that. And there's both sides of the coin, and there's certainly positives and negatives to collecting graded figures. But I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on is grading good or bad to you?
I think it gives you a reassurance about what you're buying and the sort of condition, because people, when they sell stuff, I've mainly bought off eBay in the past 10 years, so if you're buying an ungraded figure and you're relying on the seller's description, they might, this goes back to 2009. I bought a 65 back Jawa ungraded, and I wasn't happy with the condition. So I sort of contacted the seller saying I'm not happy. I thought it'd be in better condition and stuff like that. And it sort of left. I kept it, but it sort of left a bit of bitterness or ill will. And so I think at least when you buy something graded, more or less, if you get buying stuff at AFA 85 or 80 or 75, you more or less know the sort of what you're going to get, really. So I think it's definitely, for me, a reassurance. And if you're going back 10 years, when they weren't so high up as they are now. You could buy that tri-logo near Num, which is at AFA 75. I got that for about £38 10 years ago. So that's next to nothing, really. Well, and
right.
It's so, and I think it's sort of, I think when it offers buyers, it's protected, it's verified as authentic. Obviously now people are faking labels, but I think
weapons.
Yeah. So I think overall it's a more positive than negative. I know that grading is a very divisive issue, with a lot of vintage collectors saying, "I'll never get anything graded." It's sort of derided. If you go on Facebook groups and stuff like that, a lot of people deride grading. And obviously the thing that annoys people most is that you grade. Yeah. That's the one thing that will get people's gander up, so to speak. And but when I started buying loose graded, I would actively seek out U grades, because I had the carded collection, and I thought, just to make it for me something a bit more special. So I thought I was picking up U graded figures for about 20 quid, 30 quid at the most, and that's how comes I got so many U grades. You come across a lot of tatty cards, and like recently I bought that Star Trek Mego figure, and the card is tatty, but I've already got it loose graded. I just wanted the carded example, and it's an Italian card, so I just wanted it. So so
yeah. And he follows up here. Eugene follows up here, and he says, "I'm not saying grading is bad. Is it worth it? Time and money?" Well, look at this guy. I probably overdo it. I definitely overdo it with getting stuff graded. So I think if you're selective about what you get graded, maybe more selective than I am. But to me, it's just nice to get stuff authenticated, especially bootlegs. There's so many fake. If you go on eBay and you type in Mexican bootleg Star Wars, 99% of that is crap that was made a month ago, in some garage mold. So if you want a really truly authentic 1980s Mexican bootleg versus something that was made yesterday, there's demand for it, obviously, because there's bootleg collectors like me out there. What do you got? Do you have a modern one, or do you or do you have one that's made 40 years ago? And so it's nice to get them graded and authenticated as such, in my opinion.
You just dropped out for 20 seconds.
Oh, so, of course.
Yeah.
It never fails.
No. Yeah.
Well, we've been on for 45.
Oh yeah. So I'd say that overall, I'm happy that I bought a lot of graded stuff. I think especially with a lot of the stuff that I have that's ungraded at the moment that needs grading, like those tri-logo missed cards, that French Meccano Yoda. That's one I forgot about.
Definitely send those in, man.
That stuff needs grading because it's so rare.
It's so rare. So rare.
Yeah.
And I do it honestly, like now, a lot of the stuff that I get graded, it's just for pure entertainment value. I just want to see how outlandish I can get with some of this stuff. And I think it looks cool graded. You know, is it necessary for some of this stuff? Is it necessary to have that massive battle pack I got, that Clone Wars battle? Is it necessary to get that graded? Probably not, but it looks awfully cool. And you know, when I die, my wife can bury me in about 2,000 pounds of acrylic.
Yeah. I mean, there's something like, in a way, it's preserving as well. It's sort of, you know, it's taking something that's quite old now, 40 years old now, and, you know, encasing it in a protective environment, really. You know, so.
I mean, I see that's a good point. That's a really good point, BOE, because I see plenty of collectors on Facebook where they have not even just put them in an acrylic case. They just loosely displayed them. And I'm talking like nice stuff, whether it's snaggled blue snags or whatever. And just sitting on a shelf for 10 years, it discolors, you know, and maybe they don't care, and that's cool. And it's your toy. You can do what you want with it. But for me, I just, you know, if I got a vinyl Cape Jawa like I do, you best believe I'm going to have that in an acrylic case. You know, it's just to keep the sun off of it, if anything. So, but it all depends.
Yeah.
But it's amazing, the anti-repro weapons versus the pro-repro, or at least neutral repro. I mean, the I don't know if you've been seeing a lot of the videos that have been circulating, like Retro Blasting and a few others. Yeah. Man, they're really going after each other, and I just, quite honestly, I just try to stay out of it. I don't know. I just, to me, it just, I don't see the point of getting so worked up over plastic toys. Whatever side of the fence you're on repro weapons and all that stuff. Clearly, I don't collect repro. You don't collect repro, but I do feel like both camps could probably use a little bit of manners. Maybe I'm just, you know.
I mean, in the end, it boils down to, does it give you pleasure? It's a hobby. Obviously, you're going to say I'm doing it for an investment, but also it's not about that. It's connecting to your past, to a time that made you happy. It's the nostalgia of, you know. And I said this on a video 9 years ago or something like that, for, you know, an interview with a collector, saying that, you know, you do it for the love of Benji. You do it because in the late 70s, you had such a great time playing with these toys, you know, and it was such an escapism. And, you know, modern life is so fraught with pressure, misery, and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, it's a great escape. You know, you can do it weekly, you can do it monthly. You know, it's a hobby that you can take it or leave it. You can just say, oh, I'm going to buy some figures now, and then next month I'll buy a few more. You know, it's something that is pleasurable and doesn't harm anyone. And, you know, it's something positive rather than, you know, doing something that's detrimental to yourself, really, you know.
I mean, it's 2020 though, man. It's 2020. Everything is divisive and full of spite and like anger and hatred. I don't get it, man. We are talking about little toys, you know what I mean? And I'm with you. I do it because I just love the hobby. It gives me something to do to keep me out of trouble, and it's fun to talk about, and it's fun to meet new people. That's the main reason I do it, you know.
Yeah, you do, and you do meet lots of people, and it's you meet people from the USA, Europe, UK, and you know, Australia as well. So, you know, it's mostly from the English-speaking world, but, you know, you get to communicate with different collectors, and, you know, everyone shares their knowledge, and, you know, that sort of is beneficial for all, really.
I mean, what's your take? You've been around, you've been doing this a lot longer than me. What, like, let's say even just 10 years ago, what do you think the difference has been in terms of variant collecting 10 years ago versus today?
10 years ago, it was probably in its formative state, really, that a few collectors, mainly I'd say in the UK, were noticing, you know, the CROs, the differences in all the CROs and paint apps and all that sort of stuff. And the sort of hobby was, you know, it's more in Rebel Scum. Because if you want to find out about CROs and stuff like that, you still Rebel Scum and places like that are the places to go to expand your knowledge. And I think
Variant Villain is a good one.
Yeah, Variant Villain. And then you go to maybe in the past 5 years, it's more or less taken off on eBay that, you know, maybe that's when I've got my first Lily Lede, which is either loose graded would have been the Rees with the glossy green boots. And then, you know, I think also like I was aware of the green-haired Medane as well. So that was one I wanted to acquire. So you start getting all these variants that you've heard about, and, you know, then it becomes, you find out that there's even more and more. And I think it's becoming more and more of an exacting science. Like you can see on certain sites that they've got the COOs. You can look at the pictures of the backs of the legs of the figures, and they're quite, you know, like the floating D PvP Chewbacca,
Right.
you know, all of that sort of, and that's one I still need. But, you know, and then the same for Lily Ledes and stuff like that. So, you know, I think it's really taken off, and I think you see it like that eBay auction I did a video on Monday about all those PvP figures that are coming up. You know, they're all UKG. Yeah, and Ledes, they're all UKG graded, so they've all got their labels, and so that's people want to acquire them now. So I think the hobby's really taken off. I think the reason for that is that because the carded figures are now so expensive, that collecting loose graded variants is a way to get a good collection going at a more affordable, you know, so you can get these variants at a lower price than buying carded figures. So maybe for one carded figure, you could get 3 variants loose graded, like, you know, so that obviously is going to make economic sense to people. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think the even just since I've really got serious about graded variants, you know, in the last, let's call it 5 years, it's amazing to see how much the Letty and the Spanish figures. I feel like the Spanish. I mean, you look at like AFA even. Like, AFA just now really got, in the last couple of years, updated their labels to say PvP. They didn't even used to say that. They would just say SCAR, COO. So you know, it's amazing just the difference in not only the knowledge base with all these kind of niche books that have come out, like the one you just covered, and his first volume, Javier's first volume on PvP, even the Polish bootleg. I mean, you got books on Polish bootleg figures only now. Think about that. Even just from 5 years ago, that's just unheard of, you know. So I appreciate it. I think, you know, some people get annoyed by it, and they get annoyed by like the, you know, oh, I got to pay $1,000 for a cloud car palette that happens to be PvP versus $40 for a standard Kenner. So you know, there's both sides of it, but to me, I just love being able to see the differences between, you know, having the figures next to each other, seeing the differences, and being able to talk about the histories of the factories and where they were distributed, all that kind of stuff. It's just really cool to me.
I think a lot of that's to do with Facebook, that all these groups have taken off in Facebook as well, and that knowledge is just spread amongst all the collectors on Facebook, you know.
Right.
So, you know, whereas maybe 10 years ago, AFA wasn't so aware of all these COO variations. And,
no, they weren't. No.
You know, so yeah. So
well, this has been fun. You know, somebody had mentioned that we need to do this more often. I don't know who it was now, but You guys, Mike mentions that you guys should do more of these streams. That's something that we plan on doing, and we'd love to have other folks on. You know, Boss, whoever, Boss Bounty, whoever
definitely.
else. But I just, you know, I think it does. It's fun to start off with a topic and then branch out as we see fit. But maybe we can figure out another time to do one and come up with a good topic. So.
Yeah, I mean, this has been really good. So if we go for 7 minutes, and we'll make it an hour. Yeah.
No, I know. We did. We're almost at an hour right now, and we've done nothing. We're two idiots talking incessantly about nothing. It's great. It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up, man. And we'll do it again soon. I'll be messaging you soon, and we'll come up with another topic.
Okay. So good fun. Yeah.
Thanks for everyone who watched. Don't forget to like and subscribe to both our channels, Blacked Out Ewoks and Action Figure Grader. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks.
Cheers. Bye.